What's up, Star Wars fans? This is Brody from the Duel the Ranks crew coming at you with another Star Wars review. In this week's review, we're going to be breaking down the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 5, The Return of the Mandalorian. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, we recommend you do so because this review is filled with spoilers. Now with all that said, let's get this review going. Now while this show is called the Book of Boba Fett, this sure felt like the season premiere of The Mandalorian Season 3. This episode exclusively follows Din Djarin, aka Mando, on his journey through the galaxy. It starts with him back to bounty hunting on Halo? Still waiting for that Master Chief to make his star debut in this show now. So then you see Mando return back to his clan, the Children of the Watch, and we learn more of why his clan is so rigid about their culture, values, and beliefs. Seeing Mando's spear, the armorer tells him that this weapon shouldn't have been made in the first place, since it's made out of Beskar and can thus pierce Beskar armor. So Din asks her to smelt it down and make it into a little gift for baby Grogu. We also learn more about the gap in Mandalore's history from the events of Star Wars Rebels to today, and how these events helped shape Din Djarin's clan. Having seen their homeworld destroyed by the Empire during the Great Purge, and the only thing that saved them was living according to the Way, they believe that upholding this way of life is the only thing that truly makes a Mandalorian, and by sacrificing any of these values automatically ostracizes you from the community. When later asked if he had ever removed his helmet, Mando unveils that he has indeed removed it, and the armorer then tells him to leave as he's no longer a Mandalorian, right after he gets done beating up on Jon Favreau's Mandalorian character, by the way. Probably should have been listening to how heavy that blade really can be. So Mando heads back to Tatooine to visit Peli Motto, who apparently has a new ship for Mando. He sees that it's a beat-up N1 starfighter from Naboo. After getting over the fact that it is a Razor Crest, they put the ship back together with some modifications, and he's off to the skies to test it out, only to be pulled over by law enforcement, charged with having too much fun apparently. Once he makes his way back to Peli's hangar in Mos Eisley, he's approached by Fennec Shand, who lets Mando know she needs some muscle and is willing to pay for it. Mando lets her know he's willing to do it free of charge, but first, he needs to visit baby Grogu. Now that's it for this episode. Now when watching this chapter, we loved seeing the scene that reintroduces Mando and reminds you that he's not only Dad of the Year, but also a lethal bounty hunter. Seeing him use the Darksaber was such an amazing sight to behold. I loved learning more about the Great Purge on Mandalore. It was cool to learn that Mandalorians didn't respect Bo-Katan as Mandalore, as she received the Darksaber as a gift instead of winning it in battle. And by operating outside of the Way, they believe that this lifestyle is what brought about the inevitable destruction to Mandalore. It was cool to also see the stick that was used to save Luke, Han, and Leia in the trash compactor being brought back into this chapter of the Book of Boba Fett as a necessary piece to get that N1 starfighter back up and running. Lastly, as someone who grew up watching The Phantom Menace, it was awesome seeing an N1 starfighter in action. Seeing it side by side with X-Wings really made you feel like they were bridging the gap between the original trilogy and the prequels. Now, with all that to be said, and as much fun as this story is, you can't help but think the entire time that this show is called The Book of Boba Fett, and he isn't making an appearance in one of his 7 episodes. As fans who have waited almost their whole lives for a Boba Fett show or movie, that feels like a real shame. In addition to that, this episode feels like it would have been more fitting in a new Mandalorian season that focuses on his character, instead of being in a Book of Boba Fett episode, which takes away from the character development and necessary story we need to help develop his arc. And with that said, we still absolutely enjoyed this episode for what it is, and will continue to wait for Jon Favreau and the team to make Boba Fett awesome in his own show. Someday, please? Now with all that said, do you agree with our review? Do you disagree with our review? Let us know in the comments section below. And if you want more Duel the Ranks content, then be sure to check out our podcast where we release episodes every single Friday, where myself and my 3 co-hosts, we rank and review all pieces of Star Wars content. And for all other things Duel the Ranks, then go to dueloftheranks.com where you can see our blog, our shop, and our Connect With Us page, where you can submit your own hot takes, your own reviews, and many of which we're going to be shouting out on the show. So if you want to do that, go to the Connect With Us page on dueloftheranks.com. Thanks so much for checking out this week's video, and we look forward to seeing you in next week's review for the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 6.